Hi, friends. Thank you for joining us today in our Let's Talk Careers series. Just for those of you who aren't familiar with what the series is about, it's the purpose is to help folks that are thinking about changing their careers or on a path and would like more information about specific occupations, learn from someone who is working in that industry or in that field or career. Give them a little bit of insight to that type of occupation. Today, we're going to welcome Sean Callaghan to our Let's Talk Career series. Thank you, Sean, for joining us today. So
Thank you
we'll
for
get
having
started. No problem. Can you tell us a bit about what you do, Sean?
Well, currently I'm retired. I retired just before COVID, but I worked for 40 years in the hospitality industry. I can give a 30-second list of what I did. So I started working at Wendy's when I was in high school, and that's when I kind of got the bug that I thought maybe a career in food services was something that I'd be interested in. So after high school, I went to college for 2 years, taking a culinary management program. After graduation, I moved around a couple of different restaurants and hotels in the GTA area. I did go to England for a bit. When I returned from England, I worked in a hotel there. I came back and I worked in what we would call corporate food services. I was working in an office building. But I still planned on being, a well-known executive chef someday. But I began to realize the value of having a good work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
So that business started to kind of slow down. So I ended up moving to become a sous chef, which is like second in charge in the kitchen. And I did that for 10 years. It was a difficult 10 years, but I learned a lot as a manager and as a chef. And then I moved to the last company I worked for, and that was 18 years. And I worked in a variety of culinary roles and then into management and up to general manager, looking after multiple locations in 3 provinces. So that's my snapshot of my hospitality career.
That's quite the career. Are you, what would you say that you liked most about what you did?
I always enjoyed working with people. I enjoyed working in a kitchen setting, working with my hands. I was able to be creative. There were always endless opportunities to grow, advance, to move. And so there was never, I never struggled to find work. There was always lots of opportunities and like the sky's the limit.
Is it as tough as they show it on some of the shows that they have on TVs? Is it as tough as they?
Yes,
Yeah.
it can be. The working in now there's different aspects of the food service industry. So the ones you see on TV, a lot of that is restaurants and hotels.
Mm-hmm.
They're extremely demanding, a lot of hours of work, a lot of time on your feet, not a lot of days off. It can be pretty demanding physically and emotionally and mentally for sure. So I touched on, that I did work in what we call corporate services, which is a
Mm-hmm.
part of the food service business. And it's a lot more work-life balance. So if someone's looking, if someone has a family and concerned about the hours, having a career in that part of the business is much more manageable. They're mainly Monday to Friday, and you're off for Christmas and Mother's Day and things like that. So it's very beneficial that way. But you're right. The challenges that you see on TV, it can be pretty tough. But it's also very rewarding. When I think back to the hardest parts of my career, those were some of the most memorable ones as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to salary and things like that, it isn't always the best, especially I guess like any industry, lower on the ladder. You really have to kind of work your way up to get a more competitive salary. But again, depending on the type of part of hospitality that you're in. Some pays can be better. They can be a little bit better in the corporate world or working in hospitals and things like that. But those are some of the negatives that people should be aware of when they're considering getting into the food service business.
Yeah, so I guess it's like if you're really passionate about this type of work, you're
Hmm.
not looking at the pay, you're looking for something a little bit more
Yeah,
personally rewarding
yeah,
than,
it's very rewarding. There's
yeah.
many times I left work feeling very happy about what we accomplished in the day. How, we could have done a barbecue event for 1,200 people or a wedding or
Mhm.
something, and yeah, it makes you feel very good about yourself. Very
That's
rewarding.
awesome. That's amazing. Is
Yeah.
there any other advice or tips that you would be able to give anyone thinking about pursuing a career in the food industry?
Yeah, I think the best thing that I would recommend is you really educate yourself. You need to talk to other people that are in the business. If you have questions beyond today's presentation, people could always email you, Catherine, and you can forward them to me. I would love to help answer questions and help with in any way that I can. Um, you need to educate yourself, ask yourself, what are your goals? Do you want to travel? Do you enjoy working with others? Do you want to be creative? And really study and know the different parts of the hospitality field. Maybe there's a certain niche that really appeals to you.
Hmm.
You could investigate the schools that offer culinary programs. You can speak to them about their program and what it could provide. In the end, regardless of your choice, you really need to know what you're getting into. So having a lot of knowledge is the key. And if, even though I mentioned the long hours and the difficult years and that I had, if you were to ask me, would I turn back the clock and change anything? I wouldn't. I'm very happy with the field that I chose.
Hmm.
It's been a great journey for me, and I wouldn't change a thing.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you, Sean, for joining us. Again, if anyone has any questions or tips or strategies that they'd like to ask through to Sean, just email myself on through the social media. The contact information is there, and we'll pass it on to Sean. Thanks again, Sean, for being a guest on our series, and I wish you well and all the best.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. Take
Okay,
care.
thank you. Take care. Bye now, Sean.
Bye-bye.